All right, so we're finishing up here, and we were talking about strength, and we got the form, which we said looks like it's possibly linear. I would say linear, and then I would say direction is positive, and then let's go with strength. And strength basically says, all right, if this is linear, all right, so let's say this is about as good a line as I can get. Say it's linear. How um, how close do these points form? All right, are they pretty close to the line? All right, and I would say these lines they look pretty strong. Now, just as a little heads up, what isn't strong? Let's give you some things that aren't strong. Okay, and then you can kind of tell me whether or not it is strong or not. So I would say this is not strong here. All right, pretend those are your dots. Can you tell if this is linear or not? Can you tell if it's going up or down? Okay, I can't really tell much. So I'm going to say that the strength of this would be like zero, like no strength. It would be very weak. Okay, however, this looks fairly strong. So I am going to say, sorry, I missed some erasing. All right, there we go. I'm gonna say, yeah, this looks like it could be fairly strong. All right. So moving on, how would I actually describe this when it's all said and done? All right. Here's how I would describe it when it's all said and done. Okay, is I would say, wait for it. There's a moderately strong positive linear relationship. Do you see how I got all three of those bad boys? Strong, positive, linear. Those are all the three things you need when describing a um, XY coordinate grid line, okay? Uh, and then up here, notice I did say, hey, there's a possible outlier right up here, right? Possible outlier. Um, and we just leave it at that, okay? So it appears that lighter students are carrying lighter backpacks because you see this little weak guy down here. All right, he's only like 102 pounds. All right, whereas look at this guy. Whoa. All right, he's like 165 pounds and he's carrying about a 35-pound bag. All right, I'm sorry. There we go. Now you can see. All right, so understood? Perfect. Let's go into that a little bit more in detail. All right. Positive association and negative association. Now, I like to think of this as like multiplication rules. Two positives makes a positive, right? Positive and a negative makes a negative. So, with positive association, if one thing goes up, and the other thing goes up, then that equals positive association. Now, just so you know what we're talking about, this has positive association. We're talking about direction here. Which way is this going? Up. Because as your weight increases, the backpack weight increases. Okay. Now, negative association would be say, all right, well, let's say one thing goes up and the other thing goes down. When one thing goes up, the other thing goes down. This would be negative association. Okay, so positive or negative. Obviously, if both things are negative, guess what? If one thing goes down and the other thing goes down, that's also positive. Okay, so it's just like multiplication rules. All right, so here's some examples for you. All right, smoking and lifespan. Let's think this through. So as my smoking increases, and I always like to say, as smoking or whatever it is increases, what happens to lifespan? It decreases, right? So this is going to be negative. I know you guys are thinking, man, could he have written that any bigger? Well, just wait. All right, we'll go positive here. Positive. Uh-oh, it's going behind my head, but hopefully you guys can tell what it is. All right, so height, as height increases, what do you think happens to shoe size? Your shoe size increases, right? As you get taller, your shoe size increases. So that is going to be a positive. As sleep increases, as you get more sleep, and we kind of already addressed this earlier, but as sleep increases, attention should increase, right? So that's going to be a positive association. And then exercise. As exercise increases, so as you start working out more, what happens to heart issues? Well, they should decrease, right? So this is going to be a negative association. So as one thing goes up, the other thing goes down, that's going to be negative. All right? Okay. I think we're almost there. All right. So here's your very own to interpret SAT example. And it's percent taking the SAT. All right. So what do you think here? Direction, form, strength. Well, I would say direction definitely seems to go down, right? Definitely seems to go down. So I would say it's negative. Form, does it seem to be linear? And here's where I struggle. I don't think it's necessarily linear. I think it would fit kind of a curved pattern like that. So I think it's probably more like an exponential decay. Don't worry, you don't need to know all of the graph names. All you basically need to say is linear or nonlinear, okay? And so I would say it's definitely negative, nonlinear, and then what would be the strength? Well, it does seem like the lines do kind of match up, or all the points do kind of match up. There does seem to be pattern there. So I'm going to say strength is moderately strong. All right, let's see the official. Here's the official writing. You guys ready? There's moderately strong, negative, curved relationship, obviously curved instead of nonlinear, between the percent of students in the state who take the SAT and the mean SAT scores. Okay, so that's how you do it, guys. All right, and that's how the cookie crumbles. All right, we're moving on to our activity. You can put away your notes, and we'll spend the next little bit on this activity. And I'm sorry to say here, guys, but there has been a crime at Craig High School. Dun dun dun! CSI statistics. Mrs. Meyer, poor sweet Mrs. Meyer, makes some of the best cookies in the world. I don't know if you know this or not. She's quite a baker. And she came in the other day with some cookies. And now they're no longer around. Somebody took the cookies. It happened during first hour. And during the first hour, they were there. Few people walked in and walked out. And all of a sudden, boom, by second hour, they were all gone. Who took those cookies? All right. Well, I'm not going to let this fly. So I went and I asked Officer Foster to see the tape. And I saw Mr. Budrow, Miss Bain, Miss Alling, Mr. Bunderson, Miss Shuka, and Miss Jensen all walk into that room. So during first hour, I know it's got to be one of these guys. All right. Also, I found a handprint covered in just chocolate all over a desk. I know that person must have been the cookie eater, the cookie thief. So our job is to measure our hand width. And we're going to measure our hand width and see if it correlates to our height. So measure our hand width and our height. Okay, both in centimeters. Then I want you to come and plot your points on the board. Okay, and the first team done, should probably label these in centimeters. And we're going to see if there's any correlation between such things. And if there is, we're going to figure out what was that handprint that I found. It's located on our worksheet that we have. We'll measure that handprint and see if we can predict which one of these culprits committed the horrible crime of the cookie thief. All right. Mr. Lilly, please take it away. Have a great day, guys. Work on some homework if you can. Goodbye.